They say that lay the draw is the easiest strategy, especially for beginners. So this season, I've decided to record all the results and the prices of every game in the English League. This is the sheet. I will just talk you through the sheet first of all, before we go into more details. First of all, ignore this bit here. We'll just go down to this section down here. You can see this first section is basically the game number. Obviously the date, home and away teams. This bit here is 90 minutes, so therefore this is the kick-off time, and this is the Betfair price at kick-off. This section here would be an imaginary £10 lay bet. So for instance, that first one, with it being 6.0, if you was to lay that, it would cost you £50 in bets. I then record the half-time result. If it's a draw at half-time, I then record the Betfair price again. And same again, how much it will cost you to lay it at half-time. This section here is obviously what it says, it's full-time result. I'm also recording how many goals there was in the second half. I'll come back to this at another point when I've got enough analysis on this. This is just to see how many goals there is. A lot of people like to bet second half goals, so that's what I'm doing on this one. This 80% is something that I do what I try and beat. I'll come back to this in a minute when I show you some of the other pages. This here is how much you would win or lose. £9.80 is obviously if it's a £10 lay bet, you will win £10 minus your commission, which I'm on a 2% commission, so you actually win £9.80. Obviously, if it loses, that would have been how much it would cost you. So for instance, that one there would have been £27.50, and if you did the same at half time, it would be £17.20. Then obviously what I'm doing is collecting all that. So if you go to the top section, these will be all the statistics. So far this season there has been 67 games, 55 of them I've won in terms of it wasn't a draw. That would have been the average price. I can see 12 games. There's been 1-0-0. This bit here is percentage, so that's 18% have been draws. Only 1% has been a 0-0 draw. Same for half time. And again, this section here is how many goals there's been. So far, 80% of the games has had a second half goal. 54% of the games has had 2 goals or more. And this comes to this section here, which is obviously the money section. At kick-off, if you was to lay every single Premier League game so far, it would cost you £2,449. You would have won £185. People like to know what it is in terms of investment and stuff. So again, that's what I've put. So it'd be 7.55 return on investment, and the strike rate has been 82%. And that's again for half time. And the 80% is what I'm doing to try and beat it, which again I'll come back to in a little bit. So like I said, I've done this for the Premier League. I've also done it for the Championship. I'm not going to go talk you through it again, but if you want to pause to see the results, you can do. I've also done it for Division 1, Division 2, the National League. As you can see with the National League has been pretty poor. If you was to do it with the National League, you'd have been down minus £305 so far, or minus £66 at half time. I'm also been doing it for the Scottish League. Again, you would have been down nearly £100 and £85 at half time, with strike rate at 71 and 53. What this is leading into basically, this is collective everything together. So I've got an August, September, and obviously I'm going on, I'll do it different months. So at the bottom we've got 2 totals. I've done a total for the full 6 leagues, and another total excluding the Scottish and the National League. So basically it's just the English Premier, Championship, Division 1, Division 2. So I'll concentrate on this total one first. So if you was to lay every single game so far this season, you'll be in profit by £85, which is only 1.15 return on investment. If you're to exclude, like I said, the Scottish and the National, you'll be £319 up at a 5.7% return on investment. In September, exactly the same again, we'll just go down to the bottom, you'd have been £209 up. So basically what I'm saying is, so far this season, if you were to do every single lay the draw on every game, you would either be £106 up on every single game, and if you just do the 4 divisions, you would be £228 up. Going back to this strike rate of 79 and my 80%, you've probably seen in some of my other videos where I get this from. It's just my attempt to try and beat it, and the reason why it's 80% is, I'll just go back to say the Premier League. 25% of all games end in a draw. So ideally you need to get 75% strike rate. So this is where this bit comes in, and that's why I've got 80%. That's basically what I'm trying to achieve, 80% strike rate. So at the moment in the Premier League, there's an 82% strike rate already, which is really good. That's why it's got £185. If I try and get I don't know, Division, no, that's not a good one. Division 2. As you can see, this one here is bang on average, 25%. 26, and as you can see, it's barely making anything. So 75% is your benchmark or higher to be in profit. I'll go to the National League. As you can see, it's 69%. So therefore, you're making a loss of £300. So I've set myself an 8% target to try and achieve to beat the lay the draw. This so far is what always qualified for that 80%. I've waited now until there's been at least 8 games played, ideally 4 home, 4 away to include. So this is what I'm keeping a check on here. Obviously that would be your win-loss section. So far we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've had 9 games. 7 would have won. I would have had 2 losses. This section here is ones what I've actually bet on so far. And this section here is obviously what I would have won and lost. At the moment it's balancing out because I had 1 loss. The reason why I haven't bet every single one is just because it reached the criteria, which is going to be 8% or above. I still look into it and look at the other details, suspensions, if there's any strikers injured and stuff like that, and I make my own decision from there. If you want to keep a check on this going forward, please like and subscribe to this channel, and every month I'll do an update on this just to keep you updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.